binary acids. So, naming acids, these have a different set of rules for naming. We talked about the divisions of all these different types of compounds. A binary acid is an aqueous solution, and the compound contains hydrogen and a nonmetal. So it's two elements, a hydrogen and a nonmetal. We should always include AQ after the formula. Because if it's not dissolved in water, technically it's named as a binary molecular compound instead. This is another one I'm not going to try to trick you on. So HCl-AQ is named as an acid. HCl gas is named as a binary molecular compound. This would be hydrogen chloride or hydrogen monochloride. This is named as an acid. So the binary acid names, we use a prefix hydro, and then we take that nonmetal element's name and we change the ending, the suffix, to ic, and we stick the word acid on there. And we'll see a bunch of examples. Another thing to remember is formulas of acids always start with H. So if you're looking at a formula and trying to decide, well, what kind of a compound is this? If it starts with H, you don't have to look any farther. We're going to name it as an acid. The number of hydrogens that are in the acid will equal the charge on the ion formed by the nonmetal element. Acids are not ionic compounds, but when you dissolve them in water, they turn into ions. So that's kind of a confusing thing. We won't dwell on it. Did I skip something? No. Okay, so give the systematic name for HF-AQ. So we see this H, we think this looks like an acid, and the AQ seals the deal. This is named as an acid. It's a binary acid. There's just hydrogen and fluorine. So we're going to use the prefix hydro, and then we find the name of the other element, fluorine, fluor, and then we change the ene to ic, hydrofluoric, leave a space, acid. So these are usually going to have two names as well, a first name and a last name. Hydrofluoric acid. And then going the other way, write the formula for hydrosulfuric acid. The prefix hydro and the name acid. Acid, obviously, this is an acid. That shouldn't be hard at all, right? It's like right there in the name. But what kind of an acid? Because there's two kinds of acids. If it has the prefix hydro, then it's this binary kind. So to write the formula, we're going to look at sulfuric. That's from sulfur. So sulfur is in there. When it forms an ion, as it dissolves in water, what charge does the sulfide ion have? 2-. We need to know that because that's going to tell us how many hydrogen ions are on there. Hydrogen ions are H+. So this is a 2- charge. It's going to have two H's. We need H2S. And then we want to put AQ in parentheses afterwards because acids are dissolved in water. If it didn't have AQ, we'd name it as a binary molecular compound. What would this be named as a binary molecular compound? Dihydrogen sulfide. That's a gas, and that's that characteristic smell of rotten eggs. It's really nasty. But you dissolve it in water, and it's an acid. Question? Yes? Yeah, you can think of doing a crisscross thing here. Let's go to a different color. So that would come down here, and the 2 would come down here. Will that always work? It'll always work for acids. You can add, it's actually even simpler for acids because the hydrogen's always +1. You just look at the charge. Here it's 2 minus, it's going to need 2 hydrogens. If it's 3 minus, it needs 3 hydrogens. If it's 1 minus, it needs 1. But if the crisscross thing is easier to remember, that works as well. Any other questions?